Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to set and get data from local storage. So I've got my index.html page here, and whenever I click save, it's going to reload over here. So to get started, I'm just going to type console.log hello, click save, and we get hello. So whatever I type here, you should be able to see down here. So local storage works by setting and getting items. We'll start off with setting some data. So to set some data, what you want to type is local storage.setItem. Note I've got a capital S and a capital I here, and you have to put those in there. Now, to set an item, you need to use a key value pair, and by that I mean a key is name and a value would be Chris, for instance. So I set it by declaring a key, and then the contents of that would be Chris. So now what we want to do is we want to retrieve that data. So that's everything we need to do in order to actually set that data, to set that item, that contents in our local storage. Now to actually retrieve that data, I'm going to set a variable called name, and I'm going to reverse what I've just done up here. So instead of local storage.setItem, I'm going to do local storage.getItem. Local storage.getItem just requires you to specify a key. So in this case, our key was name, so all we need is name. So I'm going to console.log name here, the variable that we've set. We've set an item in local storage, then we're getting the item, and I'm going to console log that. If I click save now, what we should see is Chris, and that's perfect. You know, that's exactly what we wanted. We've put this the item into local storage, and then we've got the item out of local storage, and we've retrieved it. Now the problem with local storage, and I say problem, one of the issues I suppose with local storage is that it will only save a string, and sometimes that's not good enough. So in this instance, it's fine because we're just storing Chris. However, you can't save like booleans or floats or whatever. It would all be converted into a string. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to comment that out, and I'm going to set up an object. That object is a data object, and inside of there, I'm going to have a name which is equal to Chris, and I'm going to have an age which is equal to 100. Obviously, I'm not 100, but let's just skate past that. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing as what we've done up here, and I'm going to type local storage.setItem. I'm going to call this our data, and then I'm going to save data into our data. Next, I'm going to console log data, what we've got up here, and I'm going to save that and show you that our data up here is an object. Now, if I console.log name from this, I can retrieve that absolutely fine. However, if I try and retrieve the data that we've set up here, and I do let new data, and I get our data, and then I console log our data, what you'll see is we've got object. Now you might be thinking, well, that's fine, we just need to pass it. However, if I console log the type of this variable, so what have we been returned back? I saved that, but we've actually been returned back a string. So we've just been returned back a string, which is square brackets, object, close square brackets. So that's useless to us. We can't actually do anything with that. We can't pass it. We can't convert that back into what it was. What we need to do is we need to take our data from up here, and we need to pass it, or sorry, we need to stringify it so it becomes a string. Although it looks like an object, it is actually a string. So console.log json.stringify data. And if I save this, the data that we've got up here is actually a string. It just looks like an object. So now what we can do is we can reset our data, and I'm going to say local storage.setItem our data. So I'm going to overwrite this up here, and I'm going to pass in json.stringify data. So now I'm going to set a new variable called local data, and we're going to retrieve this new data. So I'm going to say local storage.getItem. Again, we just need the key, so the key which is here. I'm going to say console.log local data. And so if I console log this, what you'll see is we get back exactly what we had up here. However, now it's just a string. We couldn't call local data.name, for example. That just wouldn't work. However, we can console.log json.parse this local data and convert it back into an object. So now we can actually grab name. And that is local storage in a nutshell. Now, one final thing that I want to just quickly show you. To view any local storage that has been actually set by the application, what you want to do is you want to open up your DevTools. You want to go to Application, and down on the left hand side where you'll see storage, let me just zoom out, it's quite large. You'll see storage. Click on it, you'll have local storage, and then you'll have whatever has been set by this URL. So in this case, we've just set name, and that is equal to value. That is equal to Chris, and then we also set our data, which is equal to an object down here. Chrome DevTools is just being smart and converting it into an object. It is actually a string in local storage's eyes. We have to do something with that. We obviously have to take that out, and that is where we convert it by parsing it into an object. I hope that makes sense to everyone. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Until next time, take it easy.